Mama Jnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So, pranams, Hare Krishna to all the wonderful Vaishnavas present. So just as an introduction, I want to read a statement by the late Carl Sagan, who was an astronomer and a television presenter. So he said, "What an astonishing thing a book is. It's a flat object made from a tree with flexible parts on which are imprinted with lots of funny dark squiggles. But one glance at it and you're inside the mind of another person, maybe somebody dead for thousands of years. Across the millennia, an author is speaking clearly and silently inside your head, directly to you. Writing is perhaps the greatest of human inventions, bringing together people who never knew each other, citizens of distant epochs. Book breaks the shackles of time. A book is proof that humans are capable of working magic." So we can see how Srila Prabhupada has given us his Bhaktivedanta purports, and as the previous devotees have been speaking, that these are the ecstasies of these great stalwart devotees of the Lord. And it's described in Scripture, or it's described that every word in Scripture is actually related to Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. If you analyze the Scriptures, it's one of these three things. So therefore, we see how important sadhana is in the life of a devotee. Because the first part of the relationship, or establishing one's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is Sambandha. And as Mahaprasad Prabhu, so he was saying how Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was praying to Madan Mohan. So Madan Mohan deity, he is the worshipable deity of those in Sambandha Gyan. So Sambandha Gyan is actually establishing a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as described by Srila Prabhupada, that when he was initiated, he took to heart the instructions of his own spiritual master. And this is what actually initiation is when the spiritual master implants his instructions in the heart of the disciple. And the disciple, he begins to water the seed and it begins to fructify. And in this way, we see how this Krishna consciousness movement is a fructification of the seed of desire planted by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta in the heart of Srila Prabhupada. That simply by one instruction, this whole movement has come to be and will continue to grow as long as we take seriously the instructions of the spiritual master. And this is what Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do, and as Medhavi Prabhu has stated, and previous speakers also, that the basis of our Krishna consciousness is actually, the foundation of Krishna consciousness is based on a strong foundation. And the strong foundation is a strong morning program. And Srila Prabhupada so oriented this Krishna consciousness process so that we actually have a strong morning program where we rise early in the morning, we can chant our rounds together, we attend the different pujas that are there, and in this way we study Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of fellow devotees. And whatever we learn, whatever we imbibe, what is embedded in the heart, we actually give out again. And that is the beauty of the Krishna consciousness process, that the more we distribute Krishna consciousness, the more it grows in our own hearts and more it grows in the hearts of others. And it's interesting that Srila Prabhupada included book distribution as part of the sadhana program. So we might think sadhana means, like as we just described, being in the temple, but Prabhupada kind of included it as part of our preaching program, as part of our sadhana. Because as Prabhupada himself said, that whatever he has learned, whatever he has introduced in this Krishna consciousness movement, he has learned from his father. And the one thing that his father didn't teach him, or he learned from his spiritual master, was the printing of books and the distribution of books. So therefore, the whole process is actually to please the spiritual master, and that is the basis of our sadhana. as Brajabasi Prabhu was saying, it's not out of duty but out of love. In the beginning, we might be impelled by the order of the spiritual master. You have to rise early in the morning. You have to take cold bath. You have to do this. You have to do that. But as we progress in Krishna consciousness, it's not out of duty, but the duty turns to love. Where we want to get up to see the Lord in the morning. We want to go out on book distribution. We want to give people Krishna consciousness. So that duty turns into love. And that is by the mercy of the spiritual master. So the more we actually surrender to the sadhana process, the more we actually surrender to the order of the spiritual master, then the more this becomes available to us. Just like we were saying at the opening of the Peter Marisburg temple, that Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, he makes a very, very beautiful statement. And he says, to that degree that we surrender to the order or to the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to that degree we become qualified to receive the mercy of Srimati Radharani. So this is a very, very powerful statement. So the more we surrender to the process of Krishna consciousness, the more we surrender to the order of the spiritual master. And it is very, very clear what Srila Prabhupada's instructions are. As this whole conference is based on that. That this is the most important activity. Although there's other statements where Prabhupada said that in one sense the most important thing is that we do not give up trying. Because Krishna consciousness in one sense it is a challenge. We've been sojourning in this material world for lifetimes and billions of lifetimes. So not sometimes, but it's often a challenge. So to receive the mercy of the spiritual master, that is what we want to do. And Prabhupada has given us this very, very easy process. In one sense, a very, very easy process. That you simply take to heart my instructions. So therefore, the sadhana bhakti process is very, very important. It is the foundation. And the more we can, just like we're speaking about the growth of the Krishna consciousness movement. If something is healthy, it grows. You don't have to worry about it grows. Just like if you feed your children, they will grow. So in the same way, if something is healthy, it will grow. So in one sense, we can gauge the health of the Krishna consciousness movement in the way that we extend ourselves in presenting Krishna consciousness, in preaching Krishna consciousness. That the more we can give it out, then we know that the movement is healthy. But if we want to become artificially advanced and sit in one place and chant our rounds and do bhajan, then we may advance individually. But as Mukundangiri Prabhu said that initially, that what is the need of society? What is the present need of society? So the present need of society is in the way that we distribute books. My own realization, my own subjectivity is that just like in the beginning when Prabhupada formed the society and the movement had begun, thousands of books were going out and people were literally joining the movement. But now as the movement has become stronger in one sense, devotees become more comfortable, more complacent, and then they're not prepared to kind of go beyond their comfort zones. We see how fewer and fewer people are joining. In one sense, we can say, oh, India is growing this way, the movement's growing that way. But how many people are actually literally joining the temples? So the more we distribute books, the more we distribute the holy names, it's actually creating opportunities for people to take part in the Krishna consciousness movement. It is known as a Gyata Sukriti, that somehow the devotee is creating good fortune for these persons. That someone sees a devotee, says, oh, just see how wonderful these persons are. He reads a book and he says, what wonderful books these are. So unknowingly, he's appreciating Krishna, he's appreciating Prabhupada, he's appreciating the devotees. And in this way, his heart is actually blossoming. And when it blossoms in this way, it attracts Krishna. And Krishna gives him his mercy so that he can come closer to the movement, he can come closer to the devotees. And we see how all the speakers have been saying that by studying Prabhupada's books, by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we're actually getting the association. And Brajabasi was making the point of the ecstasy of the devotees of Srila Prabhupada. And I was just thinking, actually, Prabhupada was ecstatic because he was associating with these ecstatic devotees also. So when we read Prabhupada's books, we're actually associating with all the previous acharyas. We're associating with Srila Prabhupada. And we're giving people Srila Prabhupada. I think last week one devotee, I forget who it is, but he was telling me that in India, it was this one big Mayavadi sannyasi. When he has some program, thousands and thousands of people come. And he was speaking, and the devotees normally they set up a book table outside his programs. And so they were thinking that, no, he's going to chase us away. And also they had a bus park nearby. So as people were leaving the program or as they were coming to the program, they would call them into the bus. And and the devotees would preach to them, would present Prabhupada's books to them. And then after the program, that Mayavadi sannyasi came into the bus. And they were thinking, oh, now it's like, he's going to get on our case. But when he came into the bus, he said, actually, I have a full set of your Guru Maharaj's books in my library. Not only do I have a full set, I read these books every day. He said, the only reason why I'm preaching Mayavadi philosophy is that because if I don't do it, they will kill me. So in this way, we can see how Prabhupada is influencing even the Mayavadi philosophers. So many people like that. So the more we can actually present Krishna consciousness, people will actually benefit, and we ourselves will benefit. Okay, so thank you very much. Hare Krishna.